thing that just I kept coming back to was the windows. I mean, that's the striking thing about this building. It's what you see as an outsider, and it's what just defines the space, the way that these windows are sliced up. And I know this is based on sort of particular African masks that David Ajay was looking at when he was thinking of first designing this building. So, you know, it connects to a tradition, a non-Western tradition significantly, and a kind of something outside of the sort of grand canon of art history and so on. But it's also got a really pure mathematics to it. And I was just struck by how every window, each window is unique. I don't think there are any two that are the same because of the way that the lines are drawn on the facade of the building. So I thought, some way I want to use the windows. So my next idea was the one that I actually then ran with for a couple of years, which was to make a time-lapse movie of this room. Now, if you can imagine it without the shelves and without the books, just as an empty room that's just in an empty building, which is being built, in the process of being built. I came in here with a hard hat on while the thing was being built, and it was just this empty space. And my idea was to build a temporary scaffolding structure and put a camera on it and fill the room with smoke, with a smoke machine, and just film it over 24 hours on a full moon night. So I would get the day and the night of sunlight and moonlight passing through, slicing through the building, essentially. So treating it like a sundial. And what I was interested in is the ways that the windows would throw beams of light that would be constantly shifting. Not only shifting because each window was different, but shifting because of that particular moment in time. And that seemed to me, I was quite interested in relating to one of the ancient origins of all architecture, which is the observatory. So, I mean, after the kind of basic requirements of shelter and warmth and shelter from the elements and so on, a building, an early use of any building was as a relationship between the body inside it and the world, the cosmos. So I was thinking about places like Stonehenge and Jantar in India, and Macchu Picchu, various observatories in the Andes, and in all sorts of places. And also thinking about the work of James Turrell, you know, excavating a volcano, a mountain, and mapping, in fact, mapping the universe, mapping our sort of place in the cosmos by really being precise about a very particular point, a very defined point, a still point, and thereby noticing the change and the movement that is around on a huge, almost unimaginable scale that's going on. So it was still, for me, what was interesting was thinking about this place as the body, but the body in a relationship with the other, with the outside. I wanted to somehow still deal with the windows, the light, the changing angles, the idea of something being not fixed, about it being a dynamic situation, something that's about a relationship with the world outside. There was something also very interesting, which I haven't mentioned, particularly about the library and why the sort of train of thought to do with it being a library. And I was interested in knowledge and the place of knowledge. So that was one of the reasons for going to astronomy and astrology. One of our earliest human intellectual endeavours, necessitated by survival, you know, agriculture, and for pastoral nomadic people to know where you were in the year, to know, to be able to have a calendrical system. It was one of the perhaps earliest sort of intellectual pursuits that we that we undertook as a kind of collective, because also data had to be collected over many generations often, and there are things to do with cosmic timescales that had to be passed on with, through societies over a long time. So there was that kind of connection with a very long tradition of knowledge exchange that the library seemed to be a part of to me. And then there was also this thing about this particular library being a shadow library, in a way. This is the shadow of all those proper white libraries, you know, with proper white artists in them. This was like all the kind of dark stuff. This is like just black people, really. So I was interested in the shadows, really. That was how I got to that was kind of train of thought. And so then I started to think, well, how can I be true to the original idea and use this building, you know, really use the building, the actual, not just the idea of the building, or you know, but just really use the way the building is designed and the spaces within the building. So then basically I got to this thing of shadows and throwing shadows. What I wanted to happen was that you would see these shifting angles, and that in a library, I mean, ultimately, the library is meant to be used by readers and people who have come to do research, and they want to concentrate on what they're doing. So I wanted something that wasn't too obtrusive, but something that you might be reading and then look up once every 20 minutes or something and notice some slight change, but not be sure what it was that had changed. And I haven't got the rhythm isn't quite, it's a different kind of rhythm than I imagined at the moment, because it's much more responsive than I thought it might be. I'm still sort of discovering how the air moves around in between. We had there was all kind of questions about how much heat is generated inside, about how responsive they might be. They've actually they've got something to just nudge them out of equilibrium every now and then. Small motors that will occasionally just push them out of equilibrium, just so that over the course of many years they don't settle into a stagnation, a stagnant point. But yeah, it's still developing, and it's responding to what people do in here. So that's I think that's the journey of it.